Well, first, gotta ask you about Richard Hart, the person that introduced me to your work, introduced a lot of our community to it. To what 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 do you think of Richard Hart? What has been your relationship? What has been your interactions? What do you think of Richard?
He's a hero. Well, I mean, so back when he was not calling himself Richard Hart, when he was Richard Schuler in the 2000s, he came and volunteered. He did the videography for a couple of my conferences in Cambridge. Then for quite a few years, we were not in touch at all. But obviously during that time, he created Hex and, not only did very well personally, but also created an entire community who have a particular mindset when it comes to investing in cryptocurrencies. And, it was leveraging that mindset that was the brilliant stroke of genius that he had in creating the airdrop, the PulseChain airdrop in the summer of 2021. So I have nothing but praise for this guy. He hasn't had nearly as much recognition, I will say, as I would have liked for the the generosity that he was able to encourage so many of his followers to demonstrate. There was more than 2,000 donors, nearly all of them Mexicans, and nearly all of them new donors who'd never donated to aging research before. So that's a huge difference that he made. I guess the boardroom coup that my directors decided to inflict did take a lot of the shine off that in terms of the more, a general audience publicity, which is a great shame. But for sure, I haven't forgotten what Richard did, and I will say there's nobody in the longevity community has forgotten. This is a very big deal.
Do you ever see yourself, teaming up with him? He's talked before about after crypto. I believe crypto is a means to an end for him. I think in the the Wikipedia article, the books, whatever happens in the future, that crypto will be a footnote to what he plans to do in the world as far as investing and helping do medical research and longevity. Do you ever see any plans for the future or anything where there would be sort of a Heart Foundation, or you would be involved in helping in that regard?
Well, sure, totally. I mean, of course, there's different ways for two people to work together, right? Richard and I, one thing that we definitely, I think I can say we have in common is that we're both rather larger than life characters, and as such, it probably doesn't make sense for us to work within the same organization. But, working at only slightly more arm's length than that, advising each other, etc., is absolutely, I would love to.
What could billions of dollars do for longevity research? What could that do?
So the answer to that question is changing with every month that passes. A few years ago, the answer to that would have been it will be transformational in taking forward the early stage research, the kind of stuff that Sense Research Foundation has been doing. There was so much that was just not, that just couldn't be funded in any other way. Over those years, what's been happening is that step by step, one by one, various essential technologies for rejuvenation, for damage repair, have reached the point of investability. We were talking about this earlier. As a result, those billions of dollars are happening, right? Jeff Bezos put $3 billion into Altos Labs. The Saudi royal family have put, a commitment to $1 billion per year for 20 years. So the billions are already there at that level. So now, where the billions are needed is more the case of the next steps, the final steps, the places where something that's already working is disseminated to the public. Training of medical personnel, building of infrastructure. That's why we're putting proper effort into lobbying now, especially in the US, but also worldwide. at the moment, there's still masses to do in the early stage stuff. That's why LEV Foundation exists. But LEV Foundation needs, tens or hundreds of millions. We don't need tens of billions.
Interesting. So if one day, somebody made it, they're like, I want to give LEV Foundation $1 billion. Would you just spin up a new venture for it because it's different?
What we do is we would treat it as an endowment. We would live off the interest, and I would not have to spend so much of my time beating the bushes. Well, any of my time. I would just get on and do the research. Okay.
Yeah, in 10, 20, 30 years, can you see there being like rejuvenation clinics, or is this it just being normal to go around the corner? Oh, there's one in downtown San Francisco. There's one in Market Street. How do you see the landscape of just doctors' offices and things changing when this stuff comes to light?
It'll be exactly like that. Yes. I mean, basically, as soon as this gets developed, it will become medicine. It will become the province of the MDs, not the PhDs. And it won't feel any different than medicine today feels. It's just that it'll work better.